Carpentry and Cleaning Servicing, providing exceptional carpet and cleaning, floor installation, refinishing, home renovations, drywall, painting, plastering, doors and moldings, electrical and plumbing, and much more. We are a one-stop shop for all your professional needs. Give us a call today on 718-221-5572. That is 718-221-5572. Or you can call our cell on 917-939-3192. Check out our sales on all services. We're located at 218 Schenectady Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Phillips Carpentry and Cleaning Servicing.
Established in 1998, Ross Road and Funeral Services continues to assist you plan the ideal funeral or memorial service locally or internationally. Our reputation is built on providing personalized funeral services based on love and compassion. Call Ross Road and Funeral Services at 718-547-0640.
Ross Road and Funeral Services, where your loved one is our loved one.
Yeah. Welcome to Ride Along Live for today, Wednesday on the ride. How you guys doing? What's up? Christmas is fast approaching. Lacey J, how you doing? Welcome to the ride. Christmas is fast approaching, guys. And somebody said to me, what? You're not even taking a vacation? You're still here? What happening? I'm going to ride this through, guys. I'm a true trooper. I'm going to ride this thing through all the way to Christmas, New Year's and all. Yeah, that's how much I care. That's how much I love you guys. Right? Today, it's a very sad but very interesting story, however. I don't know if you guys have been following the story of a young lady who reported, I believe the incident happened in 2020, but the case just finalized, right? The young man, Mr. Phillip, let me get my right. Mitch Phillip, yes, Mitch Phillip was found guilty. His defense attorney, Mr. Jerry Edwin, is here to talk a little bit about what happened and why he is disappointed with the verdict. A lot to digest because it's a case that we've been following relatively closely since it happened. All right. And again, wait until you hear the circumstances. Now, first of all, there might be some words used that might be graphic in nature as describing this particular incident. So viewers' discretion is advised. All right? Viewers' discretion is advised. So let me play back a bit, guys. Again, viewers' discretion is advised, right? Let me play back a bit of the story and we'll bring in Mr. Jerry Edwin to talk to us a little bit more on it. Guys, go ahead and share the program. I'm moving too fast because we have a limited time with Mr. Edwin and I want to get in as much information as possible. All right, so let's get the quick clip of what actually happened. This is the news from GBN. Check it out.
Mitch Phillip was found guilty of the non-capital murder of his common-law wife Chanel Alexis on Monday. The case was brought against the Victoria St. Mark resident in connection with the May 30th, 2020 death of 23-year-old Chanel last month at the St. George No. 1 High Court. Philip, a joiner of Queens Street in Victoria, was 49 years old when he was charged in June 2020 as the main suspect in connection with the death of the young mother of two. His charge was based on information contained in a 7-page report done by top Trinidad and Tobago forensic scientist Professor Herbert Daisley, who found that Alexis did not die from natural causes, but in suspicious circumstances. It took officials approximately 3 weeks to determine the actual cause of Chanel's death. A first autopsy done by pathologists at the St. George's General Hospital did not reach a conclusive determination of the cause of the death, and the state turned to Professor Daisley, whose findings indicated that Alexis died from excessive excessive bleeding due to a botched medical operation. The forensic expert noted that some form of rigid instrument was pushed up into the private part of the deceased, who was about 12 to 15 weeks pregnant at the time of her death. The report also found that there was also evidence of force being used to subdue the deceased before her death based on impressions seen on her legs and thighs. Alexis reportedly died shortly after being taken to the General Hospital by the murderer accused during the early morning hours of May 30th, 2020. The prosecution team, led by Senior Crown Counsel Howard Pinnock, was scheduled to call some 11 witnesses to provide evidence of circumstance in the matter before the court. Attorney-at-law Jerry Edwin only had this short comment after his client was found guilty.
The worst decision a jury has ever made in the history of our courts in Grenada.
Why you say that?
We intend to appeal.
Phillip faces a maximum penalty of life imprisonment and will be sentenced on February 24th, 2023. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
All right, so that was the story there, and we would like to welcome live right now defense attorney, Mr. Jerry Edwin. Jerry, I thank you for taking the time to chat with us. I know we have limited time with you, so we're trying to get it done as quick as possible. From what we learned from the story, right? From what we learned from the story, a young pregnant woman was murdered by
Ask me what happened in court, not what the story says.
Not okay. What happened in court? Right now, I'm just trying to bring everyone up to speed as to what happened. Then we're going to talk about it.
Don't refer to the media. The media, you'll get the wrong story.
Okay, Jerry, tell us the right story. You said that this was the worst in the history, the worst decision by a jury in the history of our country.
Let me give you the evidence. Let me give you the uncontroverted evidence.
Okay.
During the trial, I would not have spoken about this. It would have been improper for me to do so, and I did not during the trial.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The uncontroverted evidence in this case is that at 4 a.m., Mitch Phillip, who you see in your image, sent his neighbor, who had been assisting him to revive the young lady, Chanel Alexis, his domestic partner. At 4 o'clock, Mitch, he sent him to the police station in Victoria, about 200 meters away. The young man ran to the station. The police said there was this frantic knocking at the police door. When he came outside, this young man said, "We need transportation urgently. We have to take someone to the hospital. There's an emergency." The officer said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. We don't have a vehicle." What else is new? The officer then stepped out of the station and he saw the young man running back to the place where Mitch and beautiful young Chanel Alexis lived. He watched for a while and then he saw a car. And he saw bodies, persons moving quickly to that car and the car speeding away. They arrived at the hospital and within a few hours, she was announced dead at 5:33. Mitch was asked to go to CID. He went to CID with the police and told them what happened. There was an intimate contact between him and Chanel in a bamboo shed, which is right next. It's the shed that they had been constructing to turn into a vegetable shop. It had been partly laminated because they wanted to do they wanted to make it a cool building so that the vegetables would not be destroyed. You know, often when you buy vegetables in some of these supermarkets or even on the side of the road, it's not in good condition. So he and Chanel had bought an acre of land together. They leased another acre, and they were going to turn this building right next to the little plot of land that they lived in into a cool vegetable shed. Mitch told the police that around 4 o'clock, he and Chanel were engaged in sexual activity, and she said, "No, stop." And then he stopped. She was sweating incredibly, just a lot of sweat. And she asked him for some water. "Go get me some water, Mitch." There's a green Ting bottle, Ting, the drink.
Right.
He filled the bottle with water, came back inside shed, she drank everything.
Mhm.
Filled it again, she drank most of it. And he placed the bottle down on the mattress where they were having their intimate moment.
Mhm.
The police would actually see that bottle right where he said he left it. A few minutes later, Chanel had a massive passage of stool. She defecated. Huge. Mitch wrapped up the stool and he put it outside. When he came back inside, he asked her if she was okay. She said no, and she had a smaller passage of stool. The police, when they came 4 hours later, would actually see the toilet tissue he used to wipe her, see the stool, see the mattress, and see the bottle from which she was drinking the thing. Mitch says that after she had the second stool, she passed the second stool, he said, no, let's go into the house. That is now another little building where they all lived. Mitch, the two boys, and Chanel's two daughters. Their two daughters. He helped her go from the one building into the other building. And she lay down on the mattress. At the bed, on the bed where the little girl slept. There was another bed where the two boys were asleep. She lay down. She asked Mitch for something to eat. He went to the fridge. He said, he saw some bread. He said, no, that's too heavy for you. He went to the cupboard and gave her some chips. She ate the chips. And then she lay down. And he lay down at the foot of her bed. He spread a sheet and he lay down at the foot of her bed. He thought the emergency had passed. Shortly afterwards, Chanel awoke gasping for air. She said, I can't breathe, Mitch. I can't breathe. She didn't actually say I can't breathe. She was like, he demonstrated. She was gasping for air. He said, Chanel, what's the matter? She's like, I can't breathe. So he tried giving her mouth to mouth. It didn't work. By this time, his sons, the 17 and the 10 and the 14-year-old, were awakened by this commotion. So he said to the eldest boy, he said, run next door and get my neighbor. And he named the neighbor. The neighbor tested. All this came out in the courts, okay? In the magistrate's court and in the high court. The neighbor rushes in and he tries to give her both mouth to mouth and another kind of resuscitation by pressing on her chest. It didn't work. When she was still gasping, that's when Mitch sent him down, run to the police station. And then his little 14-year-old son, he said, look in the phone. He gave him his phone. He said, call these people, see if this person has a car, if this person has a car, and so on. They couldn't find someone. Ultimately, Mitch went and almost broke down a man's door and said, take me, you come to my house and take us to the hospital now. The guy just left what he was doing, and the police actually saw him driving away with these persons in the vehicle. The evidence in the case is that as far down as Brazan, but they thought they were going to Guave, to the Guave medical station. It was closed. They went to the police station in Guave. It was dark. So they said, you know what? Let's haul, for St. George's to the General Hospital.
Right.
They arrived, she was dead. Now, the first
you say when they arrived, she was dead?
Yeah, she was pronounced dead at about 5:33. 5:33. Interestingly, because I'm not going to leave anything out for you, because we will argue this. I'm telling you as it is.
Right.
The doctor,
as your client translated to you as it is. Obviously,
no. I'm telling you the fact. I'm telling you what evidence came out in the court.
Okay, good.
This is not my client talking to me, because I wouldn't tell anybody what my client and I discussed.
Okay.
I will tell you what came out in the court for the
Okay.
jury, the judge, the prosecutor, and the audience in the court to hear.
Right.
That's as
Right.
good as it gets.
Yes.
There was a young doctor at the hospital who did not actually testify. She said that in her view, Chanel died 4 to 5 hours before. That was her view. Because she saw rigor mortis setting in. We could not question this doctor because her evidence came in. There's a special rule that allows someone who is unavailable to come in. Mitch, I'm hearing from the voice of God now, so just bear with me, Mitch. Junior, just bear with me 1 minute.
No
when
problem.
my wife calls, I have to answer regardless of what I'm doing.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Do that, Jerry. Yes, guys. So we're speaking here with attorney Jerry Edwin, and he's on a call right now. But I want you guys to follow. Right. I want you guys to follow this. I want to hear the what happened in court, what was said, and obviously the story was such that the jury found Mitch guilty. Right. But we get in the story as Jerry being there, Jerry representing his client. So that is the context of how the story is coming in. Jerry, yes, and
thank you very much.
I agree. When
thank
the
you
voice
for
of God call, you have to answer it.
That's right. So
yes.
The doctor opines, and we could not cross-examine her, that actually this, in her view, this young lady had deceased 4 to 5 hours before. After Mitch brings her to the hospital, he then goes to CID. The police say, this normal procedure, come with us to CID. And shortly afterwards, that same morning, they drove up to Victoria. The police arrive at his home and they go through all of the buildings. They see the buildings. On the 3rd, and Mitch is released on the 30th. On the 3rd, Mitch Phillip is called by the police for an interview. He gave a statement under caution. 96 questions were asked of him. 96.
Yes.
In fact, by this time, there had been a rumor circulating throughout the land that Mr. Phillip had inserted something into the vaginal cavity of the young lady and killed her.
That was what we heard as well, for the record.
That's correct. That's correct. There was no reason for it. It was said that this older man had this young girlfriend. They had a disagreement. This is in the public domain.
Hold on, Jerry. When you say that is correct, hold on, Jerry. Sorry. When you say that is correct, are you saying that yes, he did in fact insert?
Oh, no. I am saying this is what is in the public domain.
Oh, okay.
On social media, in the newspapers,
right,
on the street corner,
yes,
on the block, that he had done this, and this poor girl had died.
Right.
Let me say, I firmly believe that from that time, May 30th, 2020, until now, in spite of the evidence that 12 people heard in the courtroom, I believe their minds were poisoned into thinking that is what happened. And it's just a matter of clever lawyering and arguing by this fella, Edwin, that wants us to believe otherwise, because we know what happened.
Jerry, hold on. So you're saying that forensic information that was provided by that forensic expert from Trinidad was incorrect? when he stated,
My dear brother, in fact, we agreed with the forensic pathologist.
right,
He said that a botched abortion occurred
yes,
and this young lady died.
yes,
Our own expert, I called my own medical expert,
right,
and my expert said, based on the notes she saw and reviewed in this case, there should have been a lot of blood, bottles of blood, at the scene where this would have occurred. Because what we know is that this young lady had abortions before she met Mitch Phillip.
but that's
This
irrelevant.
came out in evidence.
That's irrelevant.
No, don't say that's irrelevant, because you remember now, the case is that it was Mitch Phillip who caused this abortion. Mitch Phillip said that in April, actually it wasn't Mitch Phillip, it was a witness who said that in April, this young lady was in fact experiencing a bleed, and she came to her for sanitary napkins. She didn't have any for sale in the store, so she went upstairs and she gave her some from her daughter that her daughter had together. So Mitch thought Chanel was having a period as a result of this independent evidence, because that never came out anywhere else. The reason why we think it is highly probative, that is important in this case, that Chanel actually had abortions before she met Mitch. The evidence of the first autopsy that was done in Grenada showed that there was a substance in her vaginal cavity that ultimately a pill called Cytotec, Mr. Parthel. She had used it before she met Mitch, when she had the abortion, and it was found in her vaginal cavity when the first autopsy was done in Grenada.
Hold on, Jerry.
No,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
There was a second autopsy that was done, and this was done by Dr. Daisley, the preeminent forensic pathologist in this region. And we accepted what he said. Vis-a-vis the amount of blood one would see, the amount of pain this girl would have endured in such a botched abortion. I don't think that's surprising to even a layperson. That would have been the case. Experienced bleeding, excessive bleeding, and lots of pain. When on June 19th, Dr. Daisley conducted an autopsy. He did this autopsy remotely. That is, he was not in Grenada.
Right.
It is possible to do a remote autopsy, but it has to be done under certain conditions.
Right.
Those conditions occur in what is called a virtual autopsy. We were not aware, and Dr. Daisy did not make the court aware, that when he did this autopsy, he used a cell phone. A cell phone.
To do the autopsy.
First in the history of modern medicine, I am certain. We have never seen the cell phone. We know that there were doctors present in Grenada at a funeral home where this expert conducted his autopsy. What I argued in a no case is that this information is unreliable that he obtained. Nonetheless, we agree in principle with his conclusion.
Right.
You understand? No, this might be a fine point for the jurors because the case is a complex case of medical evidence, of blood evidence. But let me also fast forward and say a couple of things. Dr. Daisy, as well as Mitch's medical expert, said you'll find blood, too much blood. The police went to the scene, not just a few hours after Mitch brought his empress, the Rastafarians, to the hospital. But on the 19th, they also went back, the police, and on the 25th, the expert criminalistics, a woman who was educated, an expert who was educated at John Jay College, has extensive knowledge of collecting trace evidence at the crime scene. She went in search of this mountains of blood. At the crime scene, where it is alleged this botched abortion was done, she found no blood, nothing. But even more important than that, blood evidence, trace evidence, as you know, even if it is cleaned, it will still show up.
Right.
And you will see
light.
evidence of the cleaning.
Right.
This expert is aware of that. That's criminalistics 101. She applied the reagent. If someone had tried to clean up this substance with anything, kerosene, paint, Clorox, soap, you would not see a bright blue hue. That bright blue is for iron, the hemoglobin that you normally see in blood.
Yes.
She found no evidence that the site was ever cleaned.
So I mean, the evidence that you bring forth, of course, seems very powerful.
No, wait a minute. Wait, excuse me. That's not my evidence. That's the Crown's case.
The Crown's case.
That is their case. That's not my evidence. That's their expert.
Here's one thing that
this. Now, I want to be clear.
Right.
I want to be clear. I'm not. This is not legal argument at that time. I can't. I mean, I give a different opinion, but I can't ask. These were the uncontroverted facts in this case.
Now, they were also...
By the way, let me add. Hold on. Let me add. The blood. Ultimately, they found blood. They found blood in the shower in the other building next door. What they found was specks. You know, like blood you can't see with the naked eye? Like little specks of blood. Mitch and Chanel did not have a face basin. So they often brush their teeth, the children, they use the shower. I mean, that's, they use the shower. The blood that was found was never tested to determine whose blood it was.
Right. Yeah.
They do not know how long the blood was there.
Yes.
And as the policeman in charge of the investigation said, he responded under oath when I asked him, I said, don't you think it's unfair to charge a man with murder? You find, the expert says, go find lots of blood. And you go, and you can't find blood. But you go in the shop where everybody uses a joiner. These are farmers. They are children. You find little. You go to anybody's shower. You'll find evidence of blood in the shower. Whoever brushes their teeth while they're in the shower, most of us. Whoever brews their gum while they're in the shower, most of us. Sometimes a woman has a period, and sometimes she washes out herself. So you would find trace evidence of blood. Why not test the blood? Why not test the blood? You know what he said to me? He said, I don't have to be fair. That's not my job. That's not my job to be fair. I was astonished. Even from the policeman who knocked me over the head on East 55th Street 25 years ago when I was engaged in some community work. He would never get to court and say, fairness is not my business.
Right.
Cost fairness
Okay,
is funny.
Jerry, speak about the information that was released. I don't know if it's debunked from the case, from the evidence, but there were reports that there were markings on her leg that showed
Yes,
that some kind of pressure was
absolutely.
put on. Now,
Let,
based
let me
on
say
based
this.
on what you're saying, if she,
Absolutely.
tell us about the pressure.
Absolutely. No, listen, for this kind of um, operation, let's call it that, to take place, ordinarily, let's call this what it is. It's a back alley abortion, right? Done outside of a hospital. Normally you have to have ligatures. They're called restraints. The medical evidence is ligatures. Because a woman cannot do this to herself. In fact, one person cannot do this by themselves. You really have to restrain a person in order to do this. But interestingly, all they said that there were marks on her thigh. There were not
Yes.
marks on her ankles. The expert did not know where the body was found. He thought the body was found at home, at the crime scene. He was unaware that Mitch and his neighbor actually brought the child, the young lady, down to the hospital. So for him, and I think this is a key issue, she had to have been restrained at the house, but there's no evidence of it. You see, my friend, why this case screams for a judge to try these complex cases. Because the layperson, hearing all the sophisticated medical evidence, and Dr. Daisy is an encyclopedia, hearing all this trace evidence from the crime scene expert, hearing all the factual evidence of what happened, at some point, I'm sure their eyes glazed over. How do they make sense of it? We do not give people literacy tests to determine, or psychological tests to determine if they could understand complex evidence. We just throw them in there. The only restriction we have is that you're over 18 and you're under 60.
Jerry, were there any evidence, hard evidence that was presented that verify that a sharp object was pushed up inside of her vagina?
No, this was just circumstantial evidence. This was just the opinion of an expert. There was no object found. He couldn't say what kind of object.
Come on.
What do you mean, come on? I'm telling you, the expert said that there was an instrument, and he said, I cannot tell you what kind of instrument. But the expert said, and we agree, listen to me, we agree with him, you know. Something happened because you see, my friend, Mitch and Chanel finished watching the news at 7 o'clock. At 8:30, he went into his shed, and he and she were doing a granite counter. They were sanding it together. She left at some point and went into the house to put the children to bed. Mitch stayed in the workshop. He has another workshop. So there are three buildings on his lot of land. There's the workshop, there is the house live, and then there is the little shed I mentioned at first. So he stayed there, continued until he had finished the job because they had to get it ready for a client. And then he went into the shed. And at some point, he was watching the news because he's a news junkie. He can tell you anything that's happening in the world. And he was looking at the time, it was the George Floyd story that was making the news all over the world. And he remembered being astonished that in Australia, he was looking at Australian news, and New Zealand news, and he was astonished that all these white people were marching in the Black Lives Matter thing. So after watching it for a while and looking at news, he then fell asleep. And then Chanel awakened him. And she said, "What happened, boy? You're going to sleep on me, man." That is the sequence that led up to their intimate encounter. And I've told you the rest.
I think that if the analogy is a regular sexual encounter, somehow.
What do you mean analogy? What do you mean analogy? What do you mean analogy?
The theory or the thought. If the thought is that
they had sex. No, not the thought.
What I'm talking about, the report said that
Which report?
Well, okay. The story said, I was not in court.
Which story? You mean in the media?
Yes, in the media.
Disabuse yourself. Disabuse yourself, and the audience ought to disabuse themselves of that. There were no reporters. Hear me now, please. That's why we have to appeal this case.
Yes.
There were no reporters in the court covering this case.
Okay, so let me ask you straight, Jerry. Were there any blunt object pushed into this young lady's vagina, whether somebody else did it or whether something else happened or somebody else tried to watch?
There were 3 perforations, 3 holes,
right?
Perforations in her cervix. We agree with that because that's hard facts. As I said, you cannot disagree with facts. They saw in the first autopsy done in Grenada, they saw these perforations. They didn't know what it was. So they called in the forensic pathologist. And he then opined that it was a blunt object.
Right.
Was
so why
inserted into her vagina?
They having sex would not cause that. They having sex would not cause that. You came back and were saying that.
No,
that's irrelevant.
But listen to me. Listen to me. There was never, the theory of the case was never that Mitch said they had sex and that caused her to die. That is what was in the popular media. Understand me, please. Our case was never that Mitch Phillip was having sex with her and that caused her death. Mitch was taken by the police to see a doctor, and that doctor stripped him naked, observed his penis. Yes, because the police were going with that theory that you are just mentioning here, that sex somehow caused her death. And the doctor said, no, that's impossible. Impossible. So that's why I say, my friend, that cases are determined in the courthouse. That's why we really encourage reporters to come to the court so they can report accurately, not opine, but say today this person was on the stand and that's what they said. It's very important because everyone is of the view that Mitch Phillip, except for the people who were there, at least on my side, because certainly the parents believe that Mitch did this, and the jury have said they believe it. Our view is that the hard, cold, uncontradicted evidence is saying something else.
So what's your theory, Jerry? How did the young lady die?
No. There's the theory of her death, and we agree with it, as I say ad nauseum. Okay. We agree that there was a botched abortion,
right?
Because the pill, the residue of the pill, was found in her vaginal cavity. She had had, as I said, abortions before using that same pill before she met Mitch Phillip. You see why it's important? So here we have a pill that was used, and the doctor said that did not do the trick. So a blunt instrument was inserted, and there were 3 perforations that caused her to bleed to death. We agree with that. That's the experts saying this. We agree with them. Now, where is the evidence that links the house, that is the place, to Mitch Phillip? Where is the evidence that links any blood in the number, in the liters? He said liters and liters of blood. Where is it? Where is it? Isn't there evidence that said they were trying to resuscitate her? There is. You know, I want to say this. It's, I think, critical. On May 3rd, on June 3rd, Mr. Phillip was asked 96 questions by the investigating officer. 96. I mean, it reads like a pornographic novel.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time, the theory was that it was sex that caused her death. And that's why everybody believed it. Even the police believed it. So they asked him all these questions. And then they asked him a very crucial question.
Mm-hmm.
They asked him, they said, Mitch, did you want to have more children? A man has just committed a botched abortion that caused his girlfriend to die.
Mm-hmm.
He wants no part of this. What would he say? He would say,
yeah.
I want children. I want plenty children.
Uh-huh.
To throw any attention away from him as to as to her death. Mm-hmm. Mitch Phillip answered this way. He said, no, I have 8 children already. But you know, Chanel would always say, I ain't bothering with Mitch. When I want my boy, I just taking him. Now, just think about it.
Jerry, that could be Mitch trying reverse psychology. That doesn't mean that Mitch is such a truthful person. He could be trying a reverse psychology to detach or to distract away from the actual fact. Could that be considered?
You know, the judge gave a direction about Mitch Phillip when she was summing up. You know what that was? That was a good character direction. And we never know what lurks in the hearts and mind of anybody. I might be talking to you and you're a stone cold killer. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yes, Junior? Right.
Yeah.
So why would we judge a man just on what we hypothesize? We don't do that in the law. You see, we do that on radio and TV programs. We do that when we're on the shop talking, when we just shoot the breeze.
Yeah.
That's why the court gave a good character direction, because throughout his entire 51 years of life, Mitch Phillip has never gone into the court for any reason except when he went with Chanel after she had been assaulted by someone else. That's before they started living together. Yes? And he went with her to accompany her because of what had happened to her. And after a while, she just said, I keep 4 times now I'm here, and, this thing is just dragging. And they just didn't go back anymore. A neighbor who knew them said, this girl was the apple of his eye. Someone who knew them, who came to their house every weekend, Chanel's best friend, said that Mitch adored Chanel. This is evidence in the court. That at first she said, he's manipulative. He didn't want her to go anywhere. He kept a good grip on her. And then we cross-examined her. Do you know she did a complete 360 degree from what she said? She said, no. At first she said, Mitch wouldn't let her go anywhere. He wouldn't let her have any money. She couldn't have any friends. But because I had evidence to the contrary. And so we put it to her. and she did a whole 360. Mitch adored this girl. What I saw in that family was love. Anything I wanted when I went there. Chanel gave me money every time I went up there. Mitch told the jury, he said I turned over all my resources to Chanel. Why the devil would he try to hurt her?
Yeah. And someone said here, Nikki said here, because he adored her doesn't mean that he wouldn't hurt her. Love turns to hate all the time. We don't know why it happens.
But you see, my friend, the standard in a courthouse is not what we think.
Yes.
It is reasonable doubt. Is there reasonable doubt? Not just doubt that Jerry bamboozled the jury with.
Right.
But doubt that would have come out of evidence.
Yes.
And there was more than reasonable doubt in this case.
So Jerry, you seem I mean, here you have sound like you have a strong case because there is a lot of evidence that you said that is missing. But why didn't the jury believe your case? Why did you lose this case?
Why don't you ask them? I think it was a complex case. We had 11 women.
You lost the case.
I cannot climb inside their minds, brother. I cannot climb inside the minds of the jurors. What I do know is that what they heard was compelling doubt that Mitch Phillip did not want to kill, or did not kill, or did not do anything, because the evidence would have shown up. It would have shown up. We would have seen the blood on the mattress, as the expert said, where they were having sex. We would have seen the blood on the plywood floor. We would have seen the blood in so many other places. The driver who took Chanel down to the hospital would have found some blood in his car. Would have been something, Junior, to show that in that house where they lived.
Right.
Or they would have found evidence that the blood was cleaned up. We think that is reasonable doubt, which is the standard that is used in a criminal case.
Right.
And let me say this. The facts do not make up murder. At worst, it makes up manslaughter. Did the jury consider manslaughter? It doesn't sound like they did, given the evidence.
Well, it seemed like
I'm not trying to appease anybody. I say, go to the court, look at the evidence, and then you would ask yourself, listen, Junior, I agree with juries all the time, you know, even when they rule against my clients, because the evidence we would have presented was of such nature that it could go other way, anyway. Right. You see, the jury just convicted Randy John of capital murder. The jury just convicted Chad David of non-capital murder. You didn't hear me come out and say anything about it. I said I accept the jury's verdict. What is it about this case? The jury convicted a couple of my clients last year, one of them of manslaughter. They acquitted him of murder.
Good going, Jerry.
We had a client in Soubise that was acquitted in a murder trial last year. 2 years ago, we had another client charged with murder, acquitted. We won that case. We had another case for some Mount Horn boys, where I made a no-case submission that there was no evidence. The court agreed and freed him, so we didn't even have to put on a case. Nobody would know this. Right. But in this case, the public die was cast. I'm just looking from time to time, even at the evidence on your site here. And it is evident. It is evident that the jury never considered the evidence. Even for what I've said here tonight, you still see people saying what they're saying.
Well, there's always two sides to a story. There's always actually three sides to a story. Of course, you would speak the viewers would expect you to speak on the behalf of your client.
No, no, let me be clear. No. Let me be clear now. I described what the evidence was. I'm an officer of the court.
Yes.
I'm not doing advocacy. I just described everything that happened in the courthouse.
Yes.
And the evidence that came from the witness box.
Right. At the same time, you're not going to say anything that. At the same time, you're not going to say something that is going to affect your client because you are going into an appeal.
I just did. No, wait. I just did. Just for the avoidance of doubt. The prosecutor argued that this girl was deceased.
Yes.
4 to 5 hours earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to tell you that, but I'm here to tell you what the evidence is in the case. Mitch Phillip said that at 4 o'clock, he sent the neighbor run into the police station.
Right.
But there was a doctor who said that, and I didn't get to cross-examine her. If I did, I'm sure I would have disabused of that because of what my expert said about rigor mortis. Nonetheless, I didn't have a chance. Her evidence came in because she was absent. And the rules permit an absent person to give evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So she said 4 to 5 hours earlier. And the prosecutor closed in his argument by saying, you see, she was dead about 1:30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now that's the evidence. That doesn't help my client. I am telling you what the case is over now. It is not as though I am talking before a trial.
Right.
And
but
saying
you do plan to appeal. You do plan to appeal this case.
We have begun the process of appealing this case. We intend to mount a vigorous appeal because we believe this is the kind of case that cries out for a judge, not a jury, to be a choice.
Right.
In Trinidad and Tobago, defendants have that choice. What do you want, a judge or a jury? Well, New York, in the state of New York, a defendant can say, I want a judge to hear my case because it is complex. And if you put that information in the hand of a layperson, they're not going to be able to put all the pieces together. That's what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened here.
But then the judge, of course, should regulate information that he feel may not be information that the jury should hear. So he's still a referee.
No, that's not the role of a judge. That's not the role of a judge.
So okay, not the role of the judge, but then you as the defense attorney supposed to adjudicate and not adjudicate, but make a decision as to what information gets in front of the jury, isn't it?
Oh no, remember we have two sides. The prosecutor presents their evidence.
Right.
I cannot tell the prosecutor your evidence cannot go in.
Can't you object? Can't you object?
No, unless their evidence violates the rules of evidence. And it did not in this case. Everything they had went in. We have no difficulty with that. You see, we have, because we reviewed the case. We knew the evidence that was going to come in. What we did not know is that for the first time in modern medicine, a cell phone was used to conduct a virtual autopsy.
And you accepted it. And you accepted the results of it anyway. You said that.
No. Let's be clear. The expert got on the stand and he did not disclose to the court that he used a cell phone.
Okay.
He did not. That evidence, in fact, it never even came out in the magistrate's court in the preliminary hearing. It actually came out because there was a police officer who was given evidence, and everything I asked him, he would go around the mountain. I don't understand. What do you mean by that? Until the judge had to say, sir, officer, just answer Mr. Edwin, please. But once the judge said that, he began to flow like a river. And we asked him about the autopsy, who was there, what was there. And then I asked him, I said, sir, so you saw the images from the screen? Was it a laptop? Was there a screen mounted on the wall? Where was it? He said, yeah, screen. And I asked, what screen? He said, wait, no. It was a cell phone.
Oh, gosh. That's how you found out? That's how we
found out. That's how we found out.
And that was in front of the jury as well?
He then argued. Oh, it didn't move the jury one bit, obviously. The prosecution ended its case. And under the rules, we are permitted to say that there is no case in the entire evidence adduced by the Crown, by the prosecution, that Mitch Phillip had any part to play in this. The judge disagreed with us, and we can accept that. We accept it because sometimes a judge agrees with you, and sometimes they disagree with you. And then we put on our case. That's when the evidence of the bleeding came in. That's when the evidence of our expert came in with respect to an agreement.
Right.
That a botched abortion would create a profusion of blood.
True. All right, Jerry, listen, as I always say that there's always, I believe that we will get some pushback on the information that you gave us today. And although you said that information that was presented in court, I've been getting texts from folks close to the story, close to the family, who also was in court, and they also have a very...
Let me tell you about the folks who were in court. Let me tell you about the folks, and we will raise this in the court. The jury hears the case on Monday morning.
Right.
And on Sunday night, a family member goes to Facebook and runs off at the mouth about the case. We do not sequester juries here. We do not, well, the most we do is tell them, don't look, the judge says, not we, the judge, don't look at any social media. Go home, go to your bed. Don't look at any social media. Don't talk with anybody about. What do you think? What do you think? That's why we want judge trials. We're saying that a defendant facing these kind of charges must be provided with an option. This case has been polluted by inaccurate media reports, social newspapers, and so on. For this trial, when I am brought to the court, I want a judge to hear it. This is the case that I believe will make that happen. We will talk to the authorities, the people who make law, because the Bar Association of Grenada is on record as saying that this is something we need.
Yeah. Now, Marshall Diamonds is saying that the virtual autopsy are done quite frequently. Actually, out of 23 cases of which the traditional postmortem examination found a case of death, 15%, which is 65%.
What Marshall did, what Marshall did was go to Google, God on Earth. And as you could see from Google, virtual autopsies are very common.
Yeah.
But virtual autopsies are conducted under special conditions. You do not and cannot do a virtual autopsy at a funeral home. You must have two pieces of equipment available. In 2006, some Swedish doctors actually came up with this method because telemedicine had been, as you know, from even the early 1990s. There were doctors in one part of the world doing surgeries in another part using, they would insert a camera with a light. And in fact, one of our Grenadians, he's a heart specialist, a heart surgeon, Tristan, forgot his name, from Guelph. He would be in Ohio, where he is the leader of a group of hospitals. A young man, very young man, but he has this extraordinary skill as a heart surgeon. And he would direct doctors in Johannesburg, in Arizona, in Antigua, Jamaica, as to how to conduct, based on what he sees, how they should deal with the pathology he's addressing. A virtual autopsy is a horse of a different color. It is something specific. The reason why you need CAT scan and an MRI, because you are going through bones and heavy tissue. That's why, for example, a radiologist would have a probe, but that probe is unable to detect deeper problems. So radiology is good for pregnancy detection, for example, because you do not have, it's only the abdominal cavity and the cervix. Mostly the abdominal cavity, you can see the placenta, you can see the cervix, you can see the fundus. But a virtual autopsy requires an MRI and a CAT scan, and it's done at a hospital.
Right.
And we think the expert had a duty.
Right. Well, I think I'm no officer of the court, but I think that if information like that is presented and it's so invalid information, the defense attorney should be able to object on this information being put into being presented to the jury. I would think, and I'm no officer.
No, brother. Let me put this in context for you. There was an autopsy conducted in Grenada.
Yes.
And that autopsy, they found the 3 perforations I mentioned. My expert agreed that there was a botched abortion.
Yes, I get that.
And that you would have this bleeding. So these are 2 quite, you see, and this is a difficulty that we have with lay jurors. That's why we want in complex, what makes this case, one aspect of its complexity is that you have an expert witness who opines as to the cause of death.
Mm-hmm.
Merely because the other side agrees does not mean that the defendant committed the offense.
Mm-hmm.
So there are various separation. There's many things that he said that we disagreed with him on, but not on this fundamental issue. This is often the case. An expert comes and he says, I see a hole in the cornea and it penetrated and it caused the optic nerve to be severed.
Mm-hmm.
We may agree with that and simply say it was not our doctor who botched the optical surgery.
Right.
Or if you want to say, we can say it's not our client that actually cut the man in his eye. But we agree with you that was the cause of the man losing his sight.
Yeah. But Jerry, listen, we're going to continue to follow this straight into the appeal. We're going to continue to follow it and try and get an update on this. And again, for the family, they still have a situation where they have a loved one that they lost. And all of this talk and conversation is not going to bring her back. Condolences to the family, because you are actually relieving.
No, wait a minute. We're not. This is not an exercise to bring her back.
Right. I know. I'm just saying that I would just want to send out condolences to the family who might be watching this, and there
is nobody who feels more sorry about the death of Chanel than Mitch Phillip.
Yeah,
nobody.
The family. No, come on. Nobody. The family. Come on. The family. The mother.
Nobody more than Mitch Phillip.
Okay.
This family was not. Let me put it out here.
Uh-huh.
This family was not with this child when somebody beat the hell out of her. It was Mitch Phillip, and that's before they were living together. Yeah? So someone comes here, family members give their opinion as though Mitch is some kind of monster. Where is the evidence of it? Where? When they lived together, when they bought land together, when they were selling their products to the Silver Sands Hotel and the supermarket, when everybody who saw them said that Mitch has struck gold. Where was the family? Did they go visit them? Did they go visit their daughter? Oh, nobody come here and tell me about the family mourning. That man said he lost the best thing that ever happened to him. What, they lost more than him? When he was put in prison for a year on remand, his entire professional shop was scrapped clean, everything stolen. But as he said, that's just material things. I could get that back. Can't get back Chanel. Yeah? So this is not the family lost, but Mitch didn't lose. At best, they both, a father and a mother, lost a child.
Yes.
A man who loved Chanel is now convicted of murdering her.
Jerry, listen, I feel you. I think that the family.
So we're fighting.
The family
for this man's freedom.
Hey? Jerry, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you say.
What?
No, I didn't hear what you say.
Sorry, said we are fighting. We will fight for this man's innocence as long as we can. As long as we can. There are many people who say, oh, she's a young girl. Look at the age difference, 22 and 49. What they don't know is that before she met Mitch, when she was 18 years old, she was living with a man who was almost 70. You hear me?
Oh,
70.
Is that really, Jerry, is that relevant though? Not just to discredit someone who's not even here.
What?
Is that even relevant to anything? That's like painting a picture of her and she's not even here to defend herself.
Of course. This is why it's relevant. It's relevant because public opinion saying, oh, this old guy had this young girl and look at what he did to her. I mean, don't you see the comments on your side?
There's no way that I could debate you on that.
Someone says, oh, what a huge disparity in age.
All right. Okay, Jerry, I got you. Listen, we're out of time. But listen, Jerry Edwin, thank you so much for chatting with us, giving us the information. Yeah, man. We'll keep in touch, all right? And we're following up on the
okay, brother.
On the appeal. All right. We'll keep in touch, Jerry.
All right, my brother. All
right, cool. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good night. Yeah, good night. Oh, and happy holiday to everyone. Happy Kwanzaa. And we hope to see you in the new year. And everyone be safe for this holiday season.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jerry. We'll catch you again. Guys,
you're welcome, brother.
Let's take a commercial break and we'll come back and take some calls. Don't move. We'll be right back. Guys, I'm practicing, okay? So bear with me. I'm practicing. In the dark, I'm practicing, okay? Let's try this. This Friday, get ready to win big as Writers Promotion presents its $6,000 Big Money Bingo. $6,000 Big Money Bingo. Hold on. Or should I say, it's $6,000 bingo. Hold on. Get ready to win $6,000. Whether you take one or two, but the key about it is, the big part about it is, it's $6,000 money bingo. Right. It's a virtual bingo. So let's take it again. This Friday, get ready to win big as Writers Promotion presents its $6,000 bingo. Now, that doesn't sound dramatic. Let me make it a little more dramatic now. More dramatic. This Friday, get ready to win and get ready to win big as Writers Promotion presents its $6,000 virtual bingo. And put that clap right there. Right. Okay, that's good. Keep it. Yeah. Okay. Get your tickets right now at rightbuy.com and get ready to win $6,000. You guys think I said $6,000 too much? Was it too much? Like, did I say too much times? Okay, fine. Leave it. That's fine. Okay. $6,000. There I go saying $6,000 again. I just want people to get the idea that it's $6,000. Okay? All right. No problem. Get your tickets now at rightbuy.com. And when I say rightbuy.com, I want you to make it big, like rightbuy.com. Because people got to know where they got to get their tickets, right?
Get your tickets now at ridebuy.com and watch live at Ride Along Live on Friday. Events start at 6 p.m. and hosted by comedian host Hercules. Okay, so should I say Hercules or Hercules? Anyway, Hercules is hosting, okay? It's the Riders Live Big Money Bingo. Get your tickets now.
You go bow for the result, nothing to discuss, cause I think when by default and without any doubt.
More like, get your tickets now. Get your tickets now. All right. Okay, so let's make that into an ad and we could put that out. All right? Don't forget to make all the edits and corrections, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Last. Now everybody go to breakfast.
Yeah. Don't forget, guys, this Friday. Yeah, the Ride Along Live Big Money Bingo. Get your tickets right now, guys, at ridebuy.com. RYDEBUY.com. RYDEBUY.com. $6,000 less. $6,000. And you could get your tickets right now. In fact, if you go and get your ticket now, let me show you how you get your ticket. It's real simple. If you go and get your ticket right now, guys, I'll big you up. Get your ticket, come back and tell me you get your ticket, and I'll big you up right now, live, on the air. Get your ticket right now, and I'll big you up. All right, let me show you guys how to get your tickets. First, you go to ridebuy.com, just like this, right? So you go to ridebuy.com. That's the website right there, ridebuy.com. You scroll down, boom, you see? There are three tickets option right now. The first ticket option, you could get one ticket for $25 US, right? Or you could get 3 tickets for $50. I mean, you get one free. Or you could get 5 jumbo pack, 5 tickets for $80. All you do, you click on it, boom, just like that. Boom, add to cart, boom, order. Put in your information right there. Name, bam, 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 phone number, email address, and your credit card information, and you done. You ready, son. You ready. Ready to win $5,000. Get your tickets right now at ridebuy.com. That's ridebuy.com. If you get your ticket right now, guys, just come back and tell me you get your ticket and I'll big you up. $6,000. We have 4 games. The first game is going to be for $500. Just $500. Imagine the minimum is $500. At minimum, somebody's going to win $500. The second game, $500. The third game, $1,000. $1,000 cash. $1,000 cash. And the fourth game. The fourth game, guys, is $4,000. $4,000. Wow. And when all you win that $4,000, you got to come back here and, take me out on a date or something. All right. Also, guys, listen, I am not asking for a lot for Christmas. I never asked for much for Christmas. You guys could give us some stars. If you look to the left, to the bottom of the program, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see stars. I ain't talking about going and knock your head, Don't go and knock your head somewhere, and say, oh, you ain't seeing stars, If you look to the bottom, you'll see stars. You can now give us stars, right? Stars. Right? If you like the program and you want to support us, you can give us digital stars. So give us some stars, man. If you want to see us continue this journey into 2022, 2022 finished. 2023, 2024, and beyond. Give us some stars. Also, a lot of information, right? We're going to Dubai in October 2023, but you have to book now, guys. Space are limited space. So if you want to go to Dubai, October 2023, 12th to the 20th, get your tickets right now. You could start booking right now at riderstravel.com, RYDERS travel.com. That's it right there. A lot. So Stars Bingo Dubai. Okay, we also open up the phone line, guys. If you want to call in, I give you guys 2 minutes to call in if you want to call in and speak on what you heard here today, or just wish someone a Merry Christmas, whatever. We have 2 minutes. We open up the phone lines if you want to call in. 718-701-5720. Let me see who got that ticket. Who got a ticket? Who got a ticket tonight? Who got their tickets tonight for the bingo? Who just got their tickets for the bingo? Let me see if you just got your tickets for the bingo. Let me see if you just got your tickets for the bingo. Yeah. Oh, quite a few names just got their tickets for the bingo. Congratulations. You just got your tickets for the bingo. And also, guys, I got to say, we have gotten up to 38% of our goal in stars collection. We have now 1,892, which is 38% of our goal. So guys, please help us reach our 5,000 goal, all right? Help us reach our 5,000 goal or more. Give us some stars. Give us some stars. Again, guys, on behalf of all our production team here at Ride Along Live, we say thank you for being a part of our program. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for giving stars. Thanks for loving. Thanks for following. Thanks for just being a supporter. Even if you press like, it's all good. It's all good. We appreciate you so much. Thanks again for watching. Catch you guys again tomorrow on behalf of all of our production team here at Ride Along Live, our senior executive producer Lois JJ, our moderators and very hardworking moderators. Kibbs, how you doing? Gail, Charles, big up yourself, and Deanne Fraser. Remember, in the new year as well, we are welcoming some more of our moderators. So if you want to be a moderator and ride along, there's a vetting process though. There's a vetting process. You could submit and you never know. You also might be able to block and ban people. There's more to it than just blocking and banning people. It's actually really fun. We have a lot of nice conversations as moderators. We do a lot of fun things as well. So if you want to be a moderator in 2023, give us an inbox and we'll start you off on the process. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program. Don't forget, bingo is on Friday, right? 2 more days to the Ride Along bingo. Get your tickets tonight. Good night, everybody. Catch you guys again tomorrow.
Established in 1998, Ross Road Funeral Services continues to assist you plan the ideal funeral or memorial service locally or internationally. Our reputation is built on providing personalized funeral services based on love and compassion. Call Ross Road Funeral Services at 718-547-0640.
Ross Road Funeral Services, where your loved one is our loved one.
Carpentry and cleaning servicing, providing exceptional carpet and cleaning, floor installation, refinishing, home renovations, drywall, painting, plastering, doors and moldings, electrical and plumbing, and much more. We are a one-stop shop for all your professional needs. Give us a call today on 718-221-5572. That is 718-221-5572. Or you can call our cell on 917-939-3192. Check out our sales on all services. We're located at 218 Schenectady Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Phillips Carpentry and Cleaning Servicing.
In the Mar-a-Lago investigation, what do you make of this Trump legal argument that we just heard about?
Thank you, Wolf. Thank you, Wolf. It's always a pleasure being here on CNN. But as I was talking to Don Lemon just a few weeks ago, I don't understand why every time I'm here is to discuss Trump. Listen, I am from the Caribbean. I'm from Grenada. And there is enough political back and forth for me to study Trump. It's not on my radar. It's just not something that I think about. In fact, the information that I received was that I was here to talk about my bingo. Yeah, my bingo that's happening on the 23rd of December. $6,000, Wolf. We are giving away $6,000. Jackpot is $4,000. Tickets is only $20. only $20. And you can get your tickets online at ridebuy.com. Yeah, that's ridebuy.com. Anybody everywhere in the world could play this. Just go on to ridebuy.com. Now, one ticket is $20 and 5 tickets is $80. Now, that's much more interesting to me than talking about jump. In fact, I cannot participate further in this conversation. I just wasn't really prepared.
George, thank you very much for joining us.